Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm Sarah from Who I Am Among the Pages, and if you're new here, thanks for deciding to stop by, and if you're not, thanks for sticking around. So today, I am also, I just want to put a disclaimer here. I'm dressed the same as I was in my last video because I am trying to get ahead on filming a little bit because I have really slacked off recently. And also want to put a disclaimer out there for my makeup and my hair because I suck at doing both. But like I said in my last video, I have always been super into like the 1950s vintage style and fashion, hair, makeup, all of that. So I am trying to learn some of it. I am trying to finally let myself get into this world that I always wanted to be a part of because life is too short. Why not? So with that being said, I do have a very, very short book haul for you guys. Down here in my college town, we do have a local town library that I am a part of because hello, like any source to get books, I don't care where it is or what it is, I will take it. And like our library at home, they did have a used book sale. Granted, the library down here is much, much smaller because it is a generally smaller area. Most of the residents here are college students at Virginia Tech, like me, but some do stick around, like I'm planning on. Yeah, there's just generally a smaller population, so there's just not the money or the need for a huge, huge library. But nevertheless, they did have a small book sale, and Bill and I, my boyfriend, did go because he, as you can see, is also a big reader. And I did find a few interesting things that I never would have picked up otherwise. Guys, if you want to get books on for a great price, if you're on a super strict budget, always go to a library book sale. Not only does the money go to a great place, because libraries not only provide books, but they also have they offer free classes. They help get kids interested in reading to begin with. Libraries are such an amazing community resource that anymore I don't think it's talked about a whole lot, but I will forever be an advocate of libraries and just love them. They're great to get books from, because the money does go to a good place, and also you could find some really neat books. A lot of books, especially at the library, the ones at the sale our library holds back at home, they're donated by anybody that wants to chip in the community. So you'll find some super old, super rare, like almost all of my collector's editions of Gone with the Wind have come from there. Really only one hasn't, and that's just because it was my grandmother's. But yeah, you can find some awesome editions and great prices. I mean, I know at home our library charges 50 cents for a mass market paperback, $1 for a trade paperback, and $2 for a hardcover. You will never find books that price anywhere else. Like even thrift stores usually charge more than that. So I'm gonna quit yammering about it, but never, never, never pass up a library sale if you're looking to grow your collection or just find some good reads and you don't have a whole lot of money to waste or spend. I don't want to say waste, but to put towards a hobby. Let me say it that way. You don't have disposable income. So anyway, I only ended up getting 4 books, which is very surprising. And Bill, if you can see on the shelf behind me, ended up getting a tremendous amount of a series that he really likes. And he did get some other books, including a Christmas present for his mom. So that's great. That is solved. But yeah, I didn't end up getting very much because it is a very, very small sale. So the first book I did end up getting was Birds of Prey by Wilbur Smith. And this is an old library book. You can tell it's been well loved. The spine is kind of torn out of it. I think this is an older copy. I think this is probably 1980s. I'm gonna check real quick. 97. It's not that old. It's the same age as Bill. But this is, from my understanding, a pirate story. It follows a captain. Yeah, Sir Francis Courtenay and his son Hal are on patrol, and they're fighting Caraval off of Agulhas Cape of South Africa. They are lying in wait for one of the treasure-laden galleons of the Dutch East India Company returning from the Orient. So yeah, I don't think I've ever read a pirate story actually. I do have Daughter of the Pirate King on the shelf behind me. that I have not read yet, but I do possess. So this is like only the second pirate story I've ever owned. And I do know that Wilbur Smith is quite the prolific author when it comes to historical fiction in settings that are kind of different from what a lot of historical fiction focuses on. From what I've noticed, a lot of historical fiction, if I say that again, I'm just gonna like throw up, tends to focus on major events just in the Western world. So there's a lot focusing around like the French Revolution, a lot around the American Revolution, but there's not a whole lot that takes advantage of these little pockets of history that are just incredible. I think that's why Outlander was so successful, in part because, you know, not only does it take place in a very unique area of the Western world, but it also took place in a time period that we kind of knew had to have happened, because obviously Highland life in Scotland does not really exist anymore, not in the same way it did traditionally. But it wasn't something that ever really been addressed in like popular media. So I think historical fiction novels that take place in these little like underestimated pockets of history are super entertaining. Yeah, I'm just yammering, but you get what I mean. So the next book I got was The Terror by Dan Simmons. And I originally picked this up just because it said now an AMC original series. And this sounds super interesting. It is, again, a historical fiction novel. And it follows the men on board the HMS Terror. So HMS is going to be an English ship. It's Her Majesty's ship, or His Majesty's ship, whoever's in power. I guess it would have been His Majesty at that point, because Queen Elizabeth is not that old. They were part of the Franklin expedition, the first steam-powered vessels ever to search for the legendary Northern Passage. They are in their second summer in the Arctic, and it has not thawed. They have tons of issues to overcome, like poisonous rations, and of course, struggling with the Arctic cold. I know their ships are having issues because of the ice. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to reading this because, again, it's just not something I've ever read. And that's one of the great things about a library sale. You can try different things, and if you don't like it, I'm out of, like, I think this was $2 actually, because this library went by a different pricing scale than my one at home did. But anyway, I'm out $2 if I don't like it. So the next book is actually part of a series, but I still bought it because it seems like it'll stand alone pretty well. And that is Tales of the Otherworld by Kelly Armstrong. So apparently the Otherworld is a series that this woman has written, and it focuses around like paranormal characters, like werewolves and vampires, that kind of thing, which again, I have talked a lot about paranormal romance and that kind of thing in my last couple of videos now. But it is something I'm definitely interested in, and these are short stories that follow different characters that she has written about in her series before. So I think this will be like kind of an introduction into the series itself to see if I'm going to like it, because if I do like it, then I found another series, and especially if it's like my beloved Rebel Spirits by Lois Ruby, then great. If not, again, I'm out $2. So the last book I got, told you it was real short, I got The Rimmer by Ellen Hilderbrand. So I have seen her in every bookstore that I have ever been in, used, brand new, so on and so forth. You know, when you go to the beach, it seems like most of the women there are reading Ellen Hilderbrand. That's what I've noticed, at least. I knew she was a contemporary author. I didn't know much about her books. But this one follows Madeline King and Grace Pancake. I hope that's Pancic. Either way. They are from Nantucket, and they are happily married with beautiful, perfect lives until it's not. So, you know, as small towns do, gossip tends to get around. Everybody knows everybody and everybody's business. So the one character, Madeline, is a novelist, and there's a rumor going around that her deadlines are approaching, the bills are piling up, and she has writer's block. She has no idea what to write. So as a writer, I can sympathize. And the other character, Grace, she is hard at work to transform her backyard into a garden paradise. But might be collaborating a little bit too closely with the Rugged Gardener. Um, so this is not normally what I would read, and if it wasn't $2, I would not have bought it. But it's an author I'd seen a lot of, and especially to be in a used bookstore, as many of her books that are in a used bookstore as there are, she has to be very well read, and very, successful to have so many people, bought her books, read them, and passed them on. So I was like, now's the time to try one of her books if I'm ever going to. I don't know how I'm going to feel about it. It's definitely, I don't read much contemporary, like I've said before, period. And when I do read contemporary, it's YA contemporary, because I seem to really enjoy the angst of teenagers, and it adds another level to the story. But I am interested to see what the scandalous world of housewives can be. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up this teeny tiny little book haul. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As usual, my Goodreads will be linked down below in case you want to keep up with what I'm reading. And my Wattpad will also be down there in case you want to keep up with what I'm writing. Thank you guys so much for watching another video. My channel has grown so much recently, and I just cannot thank you guys enough. So, see you in the next one. Peace.